you the quantum mechanics?
Yes, we are the Quantum Mechanics. We're the paranormal podcast for the believers, the doubters, and everyone in between. Now, Ben, I know it's a couple of weeks since Halloween, but I think it's worth mentioning something that happened on the live thing we did at the Cross Keys pub. When Trudy was doing her, I don't know what we'd call it, was it psychic experiments?
Yeah, psychic experiments, yeah.
She got couple of people up on stage. One was a believer, one was a skeptic, and got them to hold people's jewellery and rings and tell us what they felt. And the guy, young guy, very young guy, came up. He was the skeptic, and there was at one point in it where he says, I see Jaffa cakes. And I think at the time I thought, he's just playing with us. You know, he's being the skeptic, saying something funny, blah, blah, blah. But it turns out, you did quite well, but it turns out that he was actually the most psychically aware of everyone on that night, because the ring that he was reacting to belonged to one of our Patreons, Ruthie. And she was like, I like Jaffa cakes, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. Anyway, she sent us a message. She got she told her boyfriend about it. Her boyfriend was in China on like a business trip, I think. And he, at the time that our skeptic had mentioned Jaffa cakes, he was in a Chinese convenience store and had just bought some Jaffa cakes.
That is either crazy coincidence or it's almost remote viewing.
Well, the thing that I think weird about it is like, okay, yeah, of course, Jaffa cakes, they're certainly readily available, but I don't know how readily available they are in China. I can't believe they're everywhere. So I don't know the Jaffa cake market in China, but yeah, I just thought it was really odd. Yeah, really odd, I thought.
They're very readily...
You're right, remote viewing. It's like remote viewing, yeah.
They're readily available here. In fact, when I filled up with petrol this morning, I walked past them, but, I rarely buy them, not because I don't like them, just because it's not a thing. It's not like sort of milk or petrol that you have to buy regularly. It's it's an occasional thing. So it is particularly unusual.
Yeah, really unusual. So there you go.
I wonder if that's turned Ruthie into more of a believer.
I'm curious now. Yes, but I'm also curious that the guy who was doing it, who was the skeptic, whether he did say it as a joke and somehow attuned into something, or whether he genuinely saw Jaffa cakes. I'm like really intrigued now, because at the time I just thought, he's just making that up and just saying something funny, but maybe he wasn't.
Well, so when we first did the remote viewing, I remember Dad saying that people who do it for the first time can sometimes do really well because they accept everything that comes into their mind,
right? And
then after that you start becoming more selective because...
And second-guessing yourself.
Yes. So it's that sort of beginner's luck type of thing. Although it's not luck, I suppose.
Well, beginner's research. But yes, so...
more confectionery-based remote viewing coming up.
Yeah, we should do a whole thing on it. But yeah, cool. So yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it was worth mentioning because we found out that Jaffa cakes were a thing, a psychic thing.
Yeah, they were. Well,
segue from that.
Well, it's completely different. But the segue is, so that was our Halloween special. A couple of years ago, we went to the Swan Antique Centre.
Yeah, Tetworth.
And we didn't really find anything too haunted. It was an amazing place to be.
Great stories, though.
Great stories.
Yeah.
And I really love haunted possessions. And I uncovered Possessed Possessions by Ed Okonowitz, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's put together some of the best stories I've ever read about haunted possessions.
Great.
So I thought we should go through some of these because they're quite different to the ones that we're used to.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with one that is a bit more familiar. The story's not familiar, but it's a doll.
Okay, doll. Yeah, we love a doll.
And this particular doll belongs to Chuck Palmer, who, by his own admission, he's a sensible ex-Marine. And his job involved cleaning out rental properties after tenants had departed. And over the years, he says he's collected lots of different forgotten furniture and knickknacks. And in 1989, at a yard sale, he and his wife Kathy found one item that would change their world. It was an 18-inch tall doll made in a handmade white silk wedding gown. Right. It was only $10, so they took it home thinking they'd found a bargain, because this selling on of knickknacks, bric-a-brac, that had become a steady income for Kathy.
Right.
She placed it on top of their television set just to get the vibe of it. And then things started happening subtly, as they often do. They've got a teenage daughter, Susan, and she was the first to notice that the doll's eyes seemed to follow her as she moved through the room.
Right.
When the children were home alone, they began hearing the inexplicable sound of someone roller skating in the hallway.
Random.
And the doorknobs and empty rooms began to turn by themselves.
Okay.
A few weeks later, Kathy moved the doll to their bedroom. I don't know why you...
Well, yeah, let's do that. The spooky... Had they made any connection with the doll at that point? Or
No. Not at this point, no.
Right.
But that's when Chuck started noticing things. So he noticed that when he walked past the room, the doorknob would turn. And then when he opened the door, he'd only find the doll sitting silently in the centre of the bed.
Whoa. Right, moving dolls. Whoa.
But it escalated one Saturday night.
Oh, no.
As was his...
Well, it's roller disco night on a Saturday, isn't it?
Isn't that weird? The sound of roller skating, of all the things. Yeah. You know, the sound of championship figure skating in the kitchen. Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
So Chuck moved the doll from the bed into a corner of the room, and he'd just gone to bed, laid his head on the pillow, when he heard a rustling sound. He turned over and he saw her. In the corner where he just placed the doll, there was a little girl. She's about 5 years old, blonde hair. She was glowing, looking fleshy and real, and in her arms she held the doll.
I was going to say, okay, so it wasn't the doll and manifested into her. She'd appeared and was holding it.
She'd appeared, okay. And she wasn't just holding it, she was rocking back and forth like she was cuddling a baby. As you can imagine, even though he's a tough ex-Marine, he flees the room, and he comes back with his wife and mother-in-law, and there's nothing but the doll.
Right.
They didn't believe him, and he later told his wife, I don't think we should have taken that block of wood off the doll's feet. You see, when they'd first brought it home, its feet had been nailed to a small block of wood.
Oh, okay.
And they had removed it so it would sit better.
Wow.
They moved to a new house, but...
They took the doll with them?
They took the doll with them.
Oh, come on. You've not seen The Ring?
There's another character in this story, that's Toby the Dalmatian.
Right.
And he loves sleeping under the bed. But he refused to even enter the room if the doll was in it.
We get that a lot from dogs, don't we? With haunted places.
Yeah. Then one day, Kathy is standing in front of her mirror when a collapsed wind-up baby swing, which had been sitting against a chair with the doll sitting in a cushion behind it, flew across the room on its own and slammed into her side, and it leaves quite a big dark bruise. Okay. Kathy is hysterical at this point. She's screaming that the doll has become jealous. She doesn't really know why she's saying these things, but she says to Chuck that the doll is jealous of me. It wants to be the only woman in the house.
So that's quite poltergeisty, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So Chuck locks the doll inside a large dome-topped trunk. That night, as they lay in bed, both he and Kathy see a small white light emerge from the trunk. It floats across the room and disappears with a soft pop. A few nights later, Chuck awakes to find his body being levitated from the bed.
What? Okay.
An experience he describes as horrifying but strangely relaxing. For the final straw, this was the final straw, he put the doll in a garbage bag, took it to their adult son's home. Pretty nice, isn't it?
Oh, great. I'll dump it on the kids. Yeah, okay, carry on.
And he intends to sell it.
Right.
For 6 months there was peace, but one evening while visiting his son, Chuck mentioned he was thinking of finally getting rid of that doll. As he said the words, every light in the house flashed on and off, and there wasn't a power surge. This is, again, another final straw. Chuck takes the doll back, but not into the house. It now resides in a plastic bag in the furthest corner of the shed. It seems like the phenomena he reckons only happens when it's inside the house.
Right.
So he's now in a bit of a bind because he doesn't know whether he should sell the doll and pass it to someone else, which he feels a bit guilty about, or just leave it where it is. So to this day...
Still got it.
He's still got it in the corner of his...
I mean, I don't know
shed.
when all this happened, but these days he could just go on eBay, couldn't he?
This is the late noughties. Well, he could go on the dark web.
Yeah, or even
there.
eBay and say it's a haunted.
But I've never come across a doll causing a levitation of the human.
And the way you described it sounded quite UFO lore-y, didn't it?
Yeah.
The bit that intrigues me, actually, is going back a little bit earlier, because normally when we do these stories about inanimate objects, especially dolls, it seems to be the doll itself, or something has possessed the doll. But the description of the child would suggest maybe the doll was just an expression for the girl ghost or poltergeist.
Yeah.
So the doll might be kind of innocent in it. It's just a tool to kind of show off poltergeistery.
I mean, the author doesn't go into what they suspect, but it feels like there is a possessing entity for sure, and that was trying to show itself. It's probably really sad. I mean, when you get a child ghost like that, it feels like it's asking for help.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow, that's a great story. But yes, I like that idea of, because it would explain why dolls move location, because that seems to be a big haunting thing, doesn't it? Of the ghost girl who's actually moving it around.
Yeah.
Well, carrying it around. Wow.
Well, let's move on to another story, because this one is truly unique. I've never heard one like this before. We're in Hanover in Pennsylvania, and the story centres on a young woman named Paige, and she's just moved into her first apartment. To help her furnish it, her mother, Tilly, buys her an antique dresser. Now, antiques in America mean a very different thing. If you buy an antique dresser in this country, it's a couple 100 years old.
Yeah.
It's a 50-year-old antique dresser.
Right, okay.
It was unremarkable. It was made of light blonde wood, probably pine, and it comes with a large mirror and an oppressive energy. Right. The reflection in the mirror, she says, was never quite right. It was distorted, and Tilly often thought that she saw a faint red light glowing from deep within the glass. Strange things happened in the apartment. Paige and her roommate woke one night to see a transparent figure of a young girl in 1920s style clothing sitting at the foot of the bed. Her mouth was moving but making no sound, and the same girl was seen by another visiting family member on the apartment stairs. But Paige's first real experience happened as she was sitting on her bed looking at her own distorted reflection. She said she had this compulsion to walk towards it, and as she drew closer, she peered deep into the glass and saw, far in the distance of the mirror, a horrifying tiny face. As she pressed her own face against the surface to see more clearly, she watched the figure resolve into what she can only describe as a demonic goblin with nothing but two deep black holes for eyes.
That's weird. I'm not sure I'd want to press my face closer to it, but, good on her.
Well, she wanted to just check it wasn't her imagination.
Right.
Soon after, Paige broke out into a horrible, unexplainable rash that covered her entire body. And sometimes the mirror's presence became so unbearable she would remove it from the dresser and hide it from view. See, I don't know why after you do that, one day you go, oh, maybe it's fine. Maybe the goblins won't come back. Maybe I'll get the mirror out again.
Yeah, I'll get it out again.
Just leave it.
Yeah.
Anyway, one day, Tilly receives a hysterical call from her daughter Paige, who was screaming that there was something in the room with her. The demons were trying to get her. Tilly raced to the apartment and found her daughter huddled in the doorway, sobbing and shaking. When Tilly pushed past her and opened the bedroom door, instantly Paige raced in from behind, but she was not herself. She began twirling and spinning violently in the middle of the room as if she was possessed herself. Her head jerked back, her eyes rolled up, And as Tilly watched, she felt a powerful unseen force lift her daughter from the floor.
Oh, a bit of levitation.
Fearing Paige would be slammed into the furniture, Tilly grabbed her, dragged her from the building, and within days, the dresser and the mirror were gone.
Yeah.
To this day, a decade later, Paige had blocked the incident from her mind and refuses to talk about it. So this is all relayed by Tilly to the author.
Right.
So when he's going into the description, there is somebody that notes that the way that she describes this goblin-like being is very much like one of the devil dogs from Ghostbusters.
Okay.
It has that feel to it, even though it appears to be bipedal. And there are some people saying, "Oh well, Ghostbusters is just on the telly behind her," but that seems like a very poor and unnuanced response to this really peculiar incident. And I really like the fact it's not just not seeing just human-like creatures, you're seeing devilish creatures.
But I guess a skeptic would say the fact that, because you do get mirrors that get kind of warped and distorted or blackened or whatever, don't you? Especially if they're old. I guess that would be the other skeptic point of view. She just seen a distorted version of her face and it freaked her out, and then she's off. She's freaked out.
It could be. I mean, one of the things that did occur to me is we've spoken about scrying before, where you stare into a mirror and you unlock different aspects. So sometimes you can see, you're supposed to be able to see like dead ancestors or whatever. Some people's faces change when they look into the mirror. Maybe this was some level of scrying that was in there. And I can imagine if you're very susceptible to it, you could start convincing yourself that there was something in it. So your mind plays tricks, you see a demonic-like creature, and then you start behaving like a demonic creature has come into you because you're so obsessed with it and you become so scared of it. Yeah. So I can imagine that, there's very many skeptical type ways of explaining this. But I do love that story but always with these, the doll started to do something, so I brought it into the bedroom.
I know, yeah.
I put away the mirror, but then I got it out again.
Yeah, no, don't.
So here's another one. This is the case of David King, who's a collector from South Carolina. And in the 1990s, he purchased a 1950s Fenton poppy lamp. From my Google search, it's like a storm lamp, basically.
Okay.
He said he wasn't very fond of the colour, it was lime, but it was a bargain. He brings the lamp home, sets it up in the living room, and it just so happens that his mother was recuperating from an illness. The first night it's home, they noticed that the lamp has turned itself off. Nothing unusual about that, really.
It's an electric lamp, I'm assuming.
It's an electric lamp, yeah. The second night, the mother is awakened by a light in the room again. It's the lamp. It's in her bedroom now. And as she prepares to get out of bed to turn it off, it goes dark on its own. Again, nothing particularly weird about this. But on the third night, they become suspicious and decide to watch. And their vigil is rewarded. Exactly at 1 a.m, the lamp turns on with an audible click, so the switch is actually moving.
Right.
And 1 minute later, at 1:01 a.m, it clicks off. This bizarre, clockwork-like haunting continues every single night. Friends and neighbours were brought in to witness the event to confirm they weren't crazy.
It's always at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right.
They try it in different rooms, on different outlets, and even into a friend's house. The result was the same. 1 a.m, the lamp would turn on. 1:01 a.m, it would turn off. Always following, this is interesting, the local time of whatever the clock was in the house.
Okay.
Intrigued, David returned to the auction house to inquire about the origins, and he was told it came from an estate in Greenville. The original owner was an elderly gentleman who had died in the middle of the night and was found in his bed the next morning.
Don't tell me he died at 1 o'clock.
The man turned the lamp on at 1 a.m. to reach for his medication and died just 1 minute later.
How do we know that?
Because that is the story that came from his family when they passed on the lamp.
Right.
It's like they knew that there was something in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to give that up, would you? Because by implication, it's holding some of your relative who's passed. It seems a weird thing to then go, if you know about it, to go, yeah, have him. Have him. We've had enough now.
And these are Grandad's trousers. They dance every day at 6 p.m.
Exactly.
We've had enough of the dancing trousers. You can have them. Yeah, I don't know.
I was also wondering, would it do it if it wasn't plugged in? Like,
with the switch clip.
Would the switch go? I know you wouldn't get the light. But
that's interesting. He doesn't mention that.
because that would be worth doing as a test if it's every night. Again, what do you know? What year the story was? So almost you would nowadays you would record that, wouldn't you?
That was in the 90s.
Okay,
that one.
That's possible, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not sure you would give the lamp away if you knew. But maybe that bit of the story is a little bit. What's the word? Embellished. The lamp.
There's an
lamp
embellishment, isn't there? Yeah, possibly.
Do you know what I mean, though? You wouldn't, would you?
No,
if it's not bothering you and it's not dangerous and in some way you feel it is a representation of your relative who's in the lamp, a bit like a genie in a weird way, you wouldn't go, oh, no, I know, well, enough of it now.
To be fair, there's no way of knowing whether they knew that was the case. It's possible that they confronted them about the 1am story and they said, oh, that's when he died.
Right.
It is possible it was that way
they
around.
realised it afterwards, maybe.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
Let's move to 1969, and a 15-year-old girl named Anne was thrilled when her parents bought her a brand new bedroom set, as all 15-year-old girls are.
Okay.
Beautiful, made of smooth dark wood.
Right.
But days after it arrived, a sound arrived in her room as well. A steady, relentless tapping that would go on for about 15 minutes before it stopped.
Right.
One day, the tapping became frantic, coming in groups of long and short sequences, like a sort of Morse code.
Okay.
Anne couldn't understand it, but she had the distinct feeling that someone or something was desperately trying to communicate with her. The noise was so loud and incessant, she began sleeping on the floor in the corner of the room, unable to bear being in the bed. Her parents dismissed it as overworked imagination.
Right.
Frustrated and terrified, she used pliers to remove the headboard, placing it flat under her double bed. But the tapping continued, this time emerging from beneath the mattress.
Ooh, that'd be spooky.
Unable to stand it any longer, she moved the headboard to the basement storage area. And that worked for a bit. The house was quiet.
Right.
But the furniture wasn't done.
Okay.
Anne gave the headboard to her best friend Sandy. And why?
Yeah, Sandy, you have a bit of that.
Sandy's family lived in an old Baltimore row house, and they placed the headboard in the upstairs hallway. One morning, Sandy was awakened by an unusual creaking sound. Sitting up in bed, she saw the apparition of a young, blonde-haired boy dressed in khaki trousers and a plaid shirt. She screamed as the figure floated rapidly out of her room.
I know, because that's a terrible fashion statement.
Khaki pants and plaid shirt, yeah. And it's always like children in these stories.
Ah, terrific!
At the sound of her scream, Sandy's mother opened her own bedroom door. Both stood frozen in the hall as they watched the spectral boy leap directly into the solid wood of the headboard and vanish completely. Sandy's mother confirmed that she had seen it too. The headboard was taken to the Salvation Army, and its whereabouts and identity have since been lost to time.
Right.
But again, why are you giving it to your best friend?
Yeah.
Here, Sandy, I've got this haunted headboard that I couldn't sleep with. Do you want it? And then inexplicably, her parents are like, well, that's ideal to put up in the hallway.
Well, that bit was confusing me.
It doesn't...
Let's put it in the hallway, so not the bed. I mean, I don't know what it looked like. Maybe, aesthetically it looked good in the hallway.
Well, apparently it is aesthetically pleasing piece of wood, but at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't take the headboard off my bed and go, well, the ideal place for this is my best friend's hallway. We were talking about rings, and this is a good story about a ring.
Excellent.
This is the story of Holly and Kevin, who'd been together since high school. Their marriage didn't last, but they remained friends. They shared a rapport that bordered on almost telepathy. One would pick up the phone to dial, the other one would already be on the line.
Yep.
And Kevin said he had precognitive dreams, sometimes describing entire events or conversations with Holly or to Holly before they happened.
Didn't see the divorce coming, though, did he?
No, that's the thing. But years after their divorce, Kevin was in a fatal car accident. Oh, no. Because of his wishes, he was cremated, and for the next year, his ashes were contained in a heavy repository about the size of a book, were passed between his mother, his grandmother, and Holly. It was like a strange form of joint custody, if you like.
Right.
Then there's this other weird part of the story. That's not the weird bit, obviously, although it is a bit weird. There's a jade ring. When they'd become engaged, Kevin had bought himself a solid dark green jade ring backed with a thick gold band. And when they married, it became Holly's wedding ring. Years later, it didn't fit, so she kept it safely in a velvet-lined box in a bank safe deposit box. A day or two after Kevin's accident, while he was still in the hospital, Holly went to the bank. For some reason, she opened the container and looked at the ring, held it and placed it back. A week after Kevin died, she returned to the bank. Her intention was to retrieve this ring and place it within the memorial niche where the ashes were to be interred. So I can see why she'd want to do that. You know, this is something that would belong to both
like
of
a tribute,
them.
yeah.
When she went into the box, the jade band, which she had seen just a week before, was now completely cracked. Wow. From the top edge to the bottom. The space was so wide you could see the gold band underneath. It had been sitting untouched, locked away in a temperature-controlled vault. There was no physical reason for the break.
Right.
Holly says the message was clear. It was Kevin's final physical manifestation of his presence, a sign from beyond the grave that said about their separation. She likes to think it represents the heartbreak and the end of the life that they could have had together. She still held a notion that they might get back together again.
Right.
And she was beginning to wonder how she could say this to Kevin, and then he passed away.
Maybe he's upset about that.
Well,
that he's dead. You know?
Yeah, he's like, no, this is over. I am done with you.
Yeah. And it may not necessarily be about the separation because of the divorce. It might be the fact he's died that he's upset about. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I like those ones. When you get those couples, I used to know one. They were friends of my grandparents, and they would literally finish each other's sentences, not in an annoying way, but, you know, one of them would say, oh, I need to go and pick up and the other one would go, car from the garage, it's ready in half an hour. And he'd go, aye, yeah, half an hour.
Right.
Like that. And it
like
was...
those twins. Do you remember those twins who finished each other's sentences? Do you remember that was that thing?
That.
It was in Australia, wasn't it? They'd witnessed some thing and just they just became internet sensations because they're so in tune with each other. They were kind of
two teenage girls, weren't they?
Yeah, something like that. I think they were slightly older, but yeah, they were identical twins. They even dressed the same, but
that's weird, isn't it?
It was a robbery or something they'd witnessed, and they'd been interviewed on the news, and they just told the whole story. They'd do a sentence each and just finish it, and then they became internet sensations.
Yeah,
something about being in tune with someone to that level. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me of a Jot as well.
Yeah. There's something about that, isn't there? It's Again, the only thing I'd be slightly sceptical of this story, the slight warning flag for me is she would gone to see it the week before and it was fine. Because if you were writing that as a piece of fiction, you'd go, oh, there's a flaw here. You know, if she's not seen the ring for a long time, it could have just, wear and tear, even though it's in a box. We need to write a bit in where she went and saw it a week before. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's made up, but it's one of those story details that's very useful in the telling of the story, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I like about this book is that these are all first-hand... accounts from people that he's interviewed.
And I'm not saying, I wasn't casting aspersions on the author or the person who's telling the story.
No, it is a handy little bit to the story, which is a bit too neat.
It's a handy plot mechanism, isn't it? And maybe it's just a coincidence or it's part of it, but yeah.
Now, this next story, I think, is my favourite from all of them. Largely, well, it's a really peculiar case, but it's also, the author calls it, the title is Johnathan's Special Chair.
Right.
And it does begin with Johnathan, who's an antiques owner on the western shore of Maryland, on a trip to purchase a sleigh.
Oh, I love that.
What are you doing tomorrow? Purchasing a sleigh, yeah.
Rosebud.
Yeah, Rosebud, yeah. He came across an intricately but grotesquely carved chair. He described his reaction as being immediately interested and at the same time scared and kind of grossed out by it. On one hand, he was a dealer and he had an appetite for such a unique piece because he knows he can make a profit on it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he said the carvings were disturbing. So on the back was the head of a sneering gremlin, and there was a figure with the head of a bird, a woman's breast, and a man's ribs, and the top corners had the heads of flying dogs. He said it was, overall, the effect was quite disgusting.
It's like something out of a heavy metal video, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I can see why you mentioned the Swan at Tetworth.
Yeah.
They would have loved that.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
that is like right up their alley.
Yeah, with half the stuff there is like this.
Yeah.
So this chair was made in Germany in about 1880, and when he brings it back to the shop, he puts it in the window because he genuinely thinks that this is going to be a money spinner.
Yeah.
But soon after, his wife Victoria gets a call from a psychic friend in Louisiana who knows nothing about the chair. He tells her that he has visualised the chair and warned her to get rid of it. So this is something that's just occurred to him. He doesn't know that this has happened.
Right.
He just
doesn't know they've bought the thing.
No,
he doesn't know they've got it. He's had a dream about a chair and has gone, have you got one?
Yeah, exactly. And if you have, you need to get rid of it.
Right.
So he's a bit unsettled, is our Johnathan, and he moves the chair inside, and he thinks, right, I just need to make my money off this. So he puts what he describes as kind of a cheekily large price tag on it.
Right.
Business in the shop suddenly begins to pick up. Word goes around that he's got this unusual, magnificent and disgusting chair. So footfall actually goes up, even because he's bought it out from the window, which is unusual to him.
Right. Because I guess people could see it as they walk past. Now they want to go in and have
to come in, yeah. But it's kind of like it's become famous.
Right.
And one couple come in and they seem to understand its significance. They describe it to him. They call it a high priestess chair. And they point out that the markings, and there are some runes on there, are actually depicting the Green Man of German mythology. The scowling face isn't a gremlin, it's the Green Man.
Right.
And before they leave, they just drop this into conversation. Oh, we're practitioners of white witchcraft, and the chair possesses a powerful energy field. Anyway, bye.
See ya.
So
thanks for coming by.
These people have got quite a lot of friends because more visitors with esoteric knowledge start turning up.
Every goth in the neighbourhood's arriving.
Absolutely, yes, it is like that. One lays out tarot cards on the seat and determines that the chair isn't evil, much to Johnathan's relief.
I love Johnathan probably after a week of this was going, this is all very well, but are you going to buy anything?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's fine you get your tarot cards out, but yeah.
The strangest event happens when a young woman comes into the store. She puts her arm over the seat of the chair, and her hair on the arms, on her arm, stands right up on end.
Right.
Johnathan tries doing the same thing, and the same thing happens to him. It's like there's a static field there.
Right.
This psychic friend calls again and warns Victoria that the chair was attracting dangerous people who will use it for evil purposes.
And won't buy anything.
At the same time, another friend who's a Wiccan, I mean, they're all gathering here.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like...
He might as well get a bar in. Start serving. Snakebite. He should just start serving snakebite. He'd make more money.
This Wiccan comes in, snakebite, and declares themselves immediately terrified, promises to consult with her own friends to find out what it was. Again, she comes back a few days later declaring that the chair was a protectorate, an object designed to protect its owner during astral projection when the spirit leaves the body.
Blimey.
So there's an awful lot of people who've got an idea about this chair.
He's now got the astral projection crowd turning up as well.
There's literally every kind of esoterica is turning up. There's people remote viewing. There's people putting their arms out going, look at the hair on the back of my head. There's people got Hawkwind CDs walking in.
That's not a green man on the back. It's an alien grey. Whoa, get them in. Wow.
This same Wiccan says that because no one is sitting on the chair has begun to protect the entire store.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
Well, no, because its energy was preventing anything, including merchandising, from leaving, which explains why the shop sales had plummeted to zero.
Oh, so it wasn't just all the goths were coming round to look at the chair and not buying anything. Literally, the chair wasn't letting anything leave.
Like, no, nothing can happen here. So it brings in all of this footfall from all the people who understand what it is, like it's calling out to them. But none of them are going to pay the exorbitant amount that he's asked for the chair, because the chair's like, I ain't going nowhere.
He should have turned it into a paranormal museum. He would have made a fortune.
Do you know what? That would have been a much better idea.
Yeah.
But, he's a businessman and he needs to sell antiques.
Yeah, it's not his gig.
So yet another psychic says, look, this is what you need to do. Put it alone, put the chair alone in its corner, and give it a book to read.
Right.
And Johnathan thinks, okay, well, I might as well try it. So he puts a Stephen King novel on the seat.
Oh, well, you don't want to do that, do you? Give it The Great Gatsby or something, or War and Peace, something that's going to take a while, is not going to give it ideas.
It's at this point his friend does phone him and frantically orders him to remove it. So apparently the chair has called out to him and gone, I don't want that. I want a nice
Stephen
book.
King.
No, it wants a nice book. So he puts a book of poetry there, and he uses incense to cleanse the whole store.
I'll give him some Edgar Allan Poe instead.
Oh, well, yeah. You imagine. What happens next is extraordinary. From the Monday following, he has the best point in his business he's ever had. Oh. Literally, stuff starts flying out of the shop. People can't buy enough. Not literally. Eventually, as the psychic predicted, the rightful owners would arrive. One night, 2 men and a woman came in after hours. One of the men placed his hands on the chair and confirmed again that it was a chariot used for travelling. Right. Johnathan finally agreed to sell it to him.
At the exorbitant price?
At the exorbitant price.
Lovely.
At the moment they sealed the deal, every sound in the shop ceased. The fans, the electric current, all humming died.
The chair didn't like it.
It was a sign, Johnathan says, that the chair wanted to go.
Oh, wanted to go.
Yeah. With them was this woman, and she hadn't spoken. She got bright red hair, and she looked, he describes, like a Victorian painting. And when she walks out of the store, he says that she carries with her leaving, he says there's a certain light, and he hadn't even noticed it, but he said that there was a strange light around the store ever since he'd moved the chair in. Right. Suddenly the room was brighter and he could breathe again, and it left with her. Right. She helps to carry the chair out with the other 2 men, and Johnathan counts his profits. And what is weird is they don't ever say who they are, these people. They just know what it is.
Come in, want to
pay their
chair.
Money.
Yep.
Then these strange activities happen. Then she carries the light out with her, and his business carries on booming. So he did end up buying more esoteric things because he'd attracted this kind of audience of people who wanted it.
He got addicted to it.
Yeah, but none of it was ever dangerous like that chair. None of it was like that chair. No. But I
always had this vision of him as they're walking out with the chair and the lights going. And "Do you want your receipt?" It's like, no. So was she? She wasn't a spirit. She just had some.
No. She just had some power, and he's just speculating that these people knew what they were doing with it.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? It's that's reminding me of, we've done the story of Busby's chair a couple of times, haven't we? The death chair, but there's something about the chair you're describing. You really want a backstory for it. You want to know who made it, why they made it, So, yeah, this kind of astral projection side to it, as you said, going kind of spiritually traveling. Yeah, intriguing.
The thing that when I read that, all I could think about was the person whose chair it was initially just going to the local carpentry shop and going, all right, I need a chair. Yeah, no bother, mate. We're dining. We're astral projection.
Yeah, and could you put something a bit spooky on the back for me?
Yeah.
Like a green man, something like that, or a goblin, or gremlin.
I've done a bit of a sketch.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's just an eagle with a woman's boob.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You want that? Yeah, pretty much.
How are you with runes? Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's like
Johnathan's special chair.
That's like a Tales of the Unexpected, isn't it?
It is.
Really is. Good story.
Yeah. It would make a really nice kind of
little 45-minute,
Yeah.
Or inside number 9 type thing.
Yes, an inside number 9. Yeah, it would.
Wow.
This next one is very much more Scooby-Doo, which is why I like it.
Good.
And it revolves around Don and Jimmy Walker, and they're two brothers living in Delmarva, which is part of America, I assume. Yeah. And they're avid collectors of antique oak furniture. In around 1990, Don finally acquires his dream piece, which is a formal 9-foot-tall oak corner cupboard built around the 1850s.
I thought you say built in IKEA.
This piece was placed in pride of the room in an open parlour area, and it was there for 2 weeks, and all was well.
Given where people have been putting furniture in this episode, I'm surprised he didn't put it on the roof.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? Whenever I buy furniture, I know exactly what room it's going into.
Yeah.
Anyway, one day, as Don was walking through the living room, he heard this loud sound. He said, imagine a 100-pound bag filled with crystals being dropped from 2 stories onto a cement platform. It's very specific.
That's very specific, okay.
He said it was a deafening, shattering crash.
Right.
Him and Jimmy both raced to the cupboard. I mean, they thought this thing had fallen over, collapsed, and was now in pieces.
Right.
It's completely untouched. Not a single piece of crystal inside had moved. That's what they'd used it for, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. They were using it to display crystal.
Right, yeah. Oh, so hence the reference.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a bit random.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. What the reason is, I forgot to highlight that bit in my notes.
It sounded like 100 baby kittens being thrown from a roof.
They use it to display kittens.
No. All right. So. Oh, sorry. I'm taking us off track. So they got this big bit of furniture. It's full of crystals. They heard this noise. They think, oh my God, it's fallen over. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking when I read that? I think it's what distracted me. Of the chandelier scene in Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're in America and you don't know what that is.
You look it up. It's very funny.
Google it, yeah. And then I discovered this interesting sentence. 2 weeks later, the shootings began.
Okay.
In the middle of the night, a sound like a 12-gauge shotgun going off inside the house would jolt them both out of bed. Again, they would investigate. No sign of damage, no sign of anything that would have caused that noise.
Right.
So Jimmy, he fancies himself as being a bit of a spiritual guy. He says, I think I know what we're dealing with. He says, I think there's a male spirit, and it's in that corner cupboard. So they decide to confront the entity. And for some reason, they call him Henry. And during daylight hours, they sat and spoke openly to the cupboard. Jimmy recalls saying to it, okay, Henry, that's enough of this crap. We're not going to put up with it. It's got to stop. And Don adds, we like the cupboard, but this is our home. We're not planning on moving out. So they have this frank conversation with it.
Right. Maybe it just doesn't like crystal.
After the confrontation, the violent crashes and shotgun blasts ceased.
Okay.
But Henry was not entirely finished. He settled for lesser disturbances, pops, cracks, snaps that continue emanating from the corner of the room. and a noise that sounds this time like a .22 caliber rifle rather than a big shotgun.
Right.
And Henry also develops a personality. At times, the lock on the glass cabinet will simply not turn, no matter how much force is applied. Jimmy says if he don't want you in there, he won't let you in there. A day or a week later, it will work just fine. Intrigued, Don tracked down the previous owner, who confirmed his own bizarre experiences. For 2 years, he said, every single day he'd return home to find the antique windmills in his collection, which he kept inside this cupboard, had been moved out of place with their tiny fans removed from their spindles.
Right.
He says it's a mischievous spirit, but it doesn't mean you any harm.
Right.
I like that idea of, like, Henry has become the cupboard, and he's like...
Got personality.
Yeah, well, I like that idea of, oh, you put crystal in here. Huh, what do you think to this noise, then? Have I crushed all your crystal? No.
Maybe he was after guns. He wanted it to display guns rather than crystals or bizarrely windmills.
Yeah. I mean, nobody is sure where the gun reference comes from. They just put it down to this spirit wanting to attract their attention. But I like the fact he's like, well, I'm still going to carry the gunshots, but I'll just do quieter guns.
Yeah.
Still a much quieter gun.
Okay, yeah.
The only... If we're going to do anything skeptical in here, the only thing I would say is you get that... You've heard of the shotgun effect when you're going to sleep, right? There's a bang and you wake up with a start.
Right.
Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not anything paranormal. That's just how your brain works, and it's a known phenomenon.
It's a known thing, is it?
It's a known thing. It could be that.
Yeah.
And I've got little bits of old furniture, nothing fancy, but I've got an old bureau.
I've seen your windmill collection. Very impressive.
It's so weird. It paints a weird life, doesn't it? Two brothers living together with a crystal collection.
Yeah.
The previous owner with his windmill collection. Yeah. It reminds me, again, a Target reference, Never the Twain. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I've got an old bureau, and sometimes the key for that doesn't work, and sometimes it falls out, but none of that is paranormal. It's just because it's so old, and the key is kind of, it's not particularly well machined. And so sometimes it just doesn't fit into the mechanism properly. I don't think I've got a Henry in my bureau.
We've got a little small cabinet which has got kind of, old little trinkets and family heirlooms in, but we've moved house so many times that all the bits in it are just completely covered and wrapped in tissue paper, and nobody's had the time or inclination to unwrap them, so it just looks really bizarre. We've got a little small cabinet which has just got things wrapped in tissue paper.
Well, if somebody wants to look at one of those things, then, at least they've got to have the inclination to ask you if they can unwrap it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I remember, there was a big thing in the 80s of putting things in display cabinets. Mm. And in my room where I was growing up, I was about 10 in the mid-80s, and everyone used to collect stuff. Do you remember that at school? Everyone used to collect stuff?
Plates on the walls. That was a thing, wasn't it, for a while?
It was. I was thinking more kids. Like, kids would have, stamp collecting was a big thing.
Yeah.
And I decided I would collect, used to get little 50 pence China animals.
Okay.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And so my parents bought me a display cabinet, and I put all of these little animals. I'd use my pocket money, and I'd always buy like dogs and seals and cats and things. And I probably had 100 in this display cabinet, and I was really proud of them. And I remember, because I left that room pretty much untouched, and then I went away to uni, and I came back, and it suddenly struck me that it was utter crap. It was just
right.
crap in a box. So,
but it was your crap in a box.
Yeah, I put them all in a shoebox, and they're upstairs in my mum's loft.
I think I can tell this story because she laughs about it now, and she's very embarrassed about it. But my niece, me and my partner, it was before we had kids. We'd been to Kenya on holiday, and we'd been on safari. We said, "Oh, we'll buy something for your niece," and we got these amazing wooden animals that were carved by the Masamara. You know what I mean? It was like really, they were amazing, hand carved. I mean, they weren't expensive, but so we thought, oh, this would be a lovely gift for her. And we brought them back and we gave them to her. And she opened them. And then she had a right old tantrum, threw them across the room and went, "Not more wood." And then left the room. I was like, well, that didn't really go down well, did it?
Oh, no.
We do laugh about that now. She's very embarrassed about it. You know, I think she told me like much later, it was just like, I was at that age where every toy I got was some kind of, you know, there was that phase of everything had to be wood and, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she just wanted, you know, a plastic doll or, you know,
Yes,
and it's just
I
like,
completely
not more
understand.
wood. And we're like, handcrafted by the Masamara tribes.
Yeah. I know, I totally get that. There is nothing worse than at Christmas when you're about 6, someone buys you something worthy.
My gran once bought me a chemistry set. I was really like, oh.
Oh, really? I'd have loved a chemistry set.
Yeah, I get why she bought it, but for me it was like, oh, really? Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah.
Best thing I ever got.
Obviously, I did though. Wow, thanks, you know.
I'll move on to Unsettling Margaret in a moment.
Okay.
But there was a time, again, in the 80s, there was a thing called, it was a sweet shop. Do you remember this? And it was like a counter with a cash register, but real sweets.
Yeah.
And it came with money as well, plastic money.
Yeah, I do remember.
And I must have
I don't
been.
think I had one, but I remember it.
I must have been about 6 or 7. And the genius thing was, you could sell yourself sweets, and because it had money on it, and you do the thing on the cash register.
Yeah.
And your parents are like, "Oh, well done, you're learning how to do maths." And then you go, "I've run out of sweets. And if I'm going to do more maths, I'm going to need more sweets." It was the perfect thing. My parents were like, "Oh, yeah, of course. Well, he needs more sweets to sell in his sweet shop." Absolute genius. Absolute genius.
It explains quite a lot where when you grew up you were done for tax evasion.
Yeah, well, I always put one in the bag for the customer.
One in the bag, one for me, one sweet, and then a pair of, yeah, okay.
But I was always the customer.
Yeah.
Anyway, time is moving on.
Sorry.
No. Let me finish with Unsettling Margaret.
Okay, let's unsettle Margaret.
This is probably my favourite cursed object because it's a portrait.
Oh, yes. Good.
Robert Northerner was immediately struck by the haunting beauty of this portrait that he found for sale.
Yeah, of course he was.
In large part because the young woman on the canvas bore an uncanny resemblance to his wife Carol.
Oh,
According to the documents that came with it, the subject was Margaret Jeanette Keeley, who died at the young age of 23 in 1840. The portrait depicts her rising from a mist, which, it sounds odd, but this is common practice for posthumous paintings at that time.
Okay.
Robert was cautioned by the elderly woman selling it. She said, "There's something unusual and unsettling about it. But he bought it anyway."
Of course he did.
This time he hung the painting in the second floor hallway of their New Jersey farmhouse.
Well, at least that makes sense.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He put it upside down underneath his mattress. No,
Facing the wrong way.
A week later, Robert was awakened shortly after midnight by the melancholy sound of a solitary violin. Searched the house, could find no source for the music. When he entered the second floor guest room near where the portrait hung, the music stopped. 2 nights later, both he and Carol heard the violin again. And again, as soon as they entered the guest room, it ceased. Within a week, the violin was replaced by a different sound. Can you guess what it is?
Singing.
The inconsolable sound of a child crying.
Oh.
I know.
That, why can't it be a nice little Heathcliff, it's me, I'm Kathy. Why can't it be that?
Well, you need a painting.
Maybe not that.
This continued for several weeks. And then it too was replaced. Phantom footsteps travelling up and down the stairs.
Always the stairs.
All day and all night these footsteps go on. Particularly all night. They're kept awake all night.
The violin had stopped.
The violin had stopped.
Okay, that's something.
And it's at this point they begin calling the painting Unsettling Margaret.
Right.
And it has a tangible effect on visitors. A house sitter became so convinced the painting was watching her that she fled in the middle of the night and refused to step foot back in the house. Another guest would comment on how the eyes of the young woman in the painting followed her and that they couldn't stand to be in the same room as it. Robert also noticed another peculiar quality. There's a pocket of cold air around of the painting. He said you can feel it with your hand. And in the midsummer, when they're all sweating, he said he'd go and put his head next to the painting to cool down.
Cool.
Yeah. Robert and the family have moved several times since they acquired the painting, and they always find a prominent place to hang it. No matter what the house, Margaret's unsettling presence always returns. The pocket of cold and the footsteps. But they say that is just a feature of the painting. They're not going to get rid of it. They're not scared of it.
It's not doing anything.
It's not doing
harm
anything
them.
wrong. It's just keeping them awake. So
I like that idea, though. That could be a Turner Prize idea. I like the idea of almost a painting that
brings
gives
a performance with it.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a snowy scene. Yeah, it feels cold when you get close to it. If it's a tropical paradise, it's got that kind of vibe to it. That'd be really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Although because I was thinking, you said she was outside floating in the painting, right? So you could look at it two ways. It is mirroring her environment that the painting, the scene she's in the painting, or it's more the cliche of all the temperature drop of a ghost.
Yeah, that temperature drop, obviously, that is a huge cliche.
Yeah.
But I like that idea of, if you're hot, just go and put your head near to the haunted painting.
Yeah, it's like air
It'll
conditioning.
cool you right down. You might get possessed. That is true. You might get possessed, but it's cheaper than air conditioning.
It does, though, when you've got that, it does make you wonder, though, the painting is more than likely to outlast them.
Yeah.
What do you do with it then? And how do you explain to someone, I guess if you've got kids or whatever, they kind of know the tale and they've grown up with it. But, if they haven't got any children and it's going to go to, an aunt or a friend or a nephew or something, do you go, look, we've left it to you in the will, but there's a few things you need to know.
Yeah, the painting will cause footsteps.
Yeah.
And the headboard that is inexplicably on the third floor of our friend's house, that just knocks all night.
Yeah.
We don't know why. But all of these...
Don't put crystals in this cabinet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you'll hear a shotgun going off.
Yeah,
that's normal. That's absolutely normal.
Yeah.
I like the way that these are all subtly different, yet somehow the same. And again, the thing that I was... sorry, that's me shutting your antique door there.
Or was it?
What it reminds me of as well was when we went to the antique centre, the driving force for going there was Trudy saying that she had got a I think it was a wardrobe or a
haunted wardrobe,
or it might have been a trunk, but it had a man in it.
Yes, that's right.
And she was like, I can't get rid of the man, so you'll have to have the furniture back.
She had a man in her bedroom stuck in a closet.
Yeah. Well, that's how rumours start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of really like that idea of, and we have spoken about possessed items before, but I've never come across a compendium of so many. And
they're good stories as well, aren't they? Really good stories.
They are good stories. There's loads in there. I'll tell you a few more on the Extra Scoop.
Lovely.
Patreon.com/TQM pod, where you get episodes a week early, ad-free, access to the Discord server and the community, a bunch of other stuff. It's less than a month. Less than a month, not even a week, a month.
And you get our exclusive Patreon-only episode, Ben and Peter's Extra Scoop.
You do. Please join us there. Now, what it reminded me of was going through all these stories. Very similar. When I was covering the spontaneous human combustion,
Yes.
I had a very similar book of all the different cases in it. And you can really only do it once because every case is roughly the same. That's why I kind of mixed those up a bit, because otherwise you're just reading and of course the footsteps start, and then there's some screaming, and then they have to burn the object or whatever. It's the same with the spontaneous human combustion. People catch light and they die, and nobody can find a good explanation. And then what happened to this other person? Oh, they caught light and died.
Yeah. I was wondering, actually, our little recording mixing desk right in front of us.
Yes.
You know, are we? Because you think of how many paranormal stories have gone through this mixing desk. Could this be a haunted object of the future?
If you walk past this room in the night and it's levitating.
Yeah. Or we hear mine and your voices. That'd be weird.
Yeah. Yes, we are the quantum mechanics.
Or we just hear...
Bingo!
We'd know, wouldn't we?
It's probing time.
Yes. Oh, well, that haunts my dreams.
Yeah.
Along with that horse's jingle that we've got now.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's some really good stories there. Thank you, Ben. Really enjoyed that. I will look forward to the other ones that we're going to have on the Extra Scoop as well. As always, thank you for joining us for the Quantum Mechanics Paranormal Podcast. Tell a few people about us. Do a review. It always helps us if it's a good one. And thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you same time next week.
Cool. See you then.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Are you the quantum mechanics?